It's a unique piece in its day, and it's a pivotal piece in Western stage history. Nowadays we are fairly comfortable and fairly well acquainted with the idea of telling a story from various different points of view and with flashbacks and with false narrative. But at the time, it was extraordinary. I mean, we're also comfortable with the idea of characters appearing off and on the stage and people being a decoy in the audience or actors talking from the auditorium. But at the time, it was entirely new.
He's in an interesting position of being somebody between the two worlds, the worlds of the characters and the worlds of his own acting company. So he at times is stranded in the middle. He's trying to make sense of it all. And there are times when he doesn't, but he keeps trying to reclaim it, to get it back, as directors do, to re-establish his authority on the piece. What he thinks is going on, but what is actually going on, he doesn't know till the end. Nobody knows till the end.
She's got a major chip on her shoulder. She's got all this pent-up anger and hostility towards her family, you know, and she's kind of got this willful refusal to accept accept anybody's view or voice on opinions of the world, you know. She thinks that she's right all the time and everybody has to be right and everybody has to revolve around her way of life. And if she doesn't get what she's going out to get, there's this streak, this kind of almost insane side to her that just she'll flip on the turn of a coin.
He thinks, and he spends most of the play trying to make a moral justification for what he's done. He realises that he's done some things wrong, but he tries at great length to make the most of those, to say that he recognises that he's been at fault in several areas, but there are areas where he says he's been a victim of circumstance, and other areas where he might be castigated by society in general, where he tries desperately to say that it might look like a bad thing, but I was trying to do the best thing under the circumstance. He's a very tormented, very tortured man. All the characters want their stories to be told in some form or other, but of course they're desperate to have their stories told in the manner which reveals the truth in the fashion that they recognise.
Directors at that time didn't really exist. They were more like actor managers. So there's a kind of autocratic, bullying, almost a cliche, in a way, almost stereotypical view of a director, which certainly isn't the case nowadays. He's got a nose for a good story, which is what he's presented with. But the way he treats everybody, it can, you know, you probably wouldn't be tolerated now.
It's a play that I think theatre goers know, and I think, you know, people will come to see it simply because it's a stamp that almost anybody that ever goes to the theatre is going to want in their album. And yet, because it's such a large cast, it's such a complicated piece, you don't see it performed very much. I mean, everybody's aware of it. I mean, I've known about it for 35 years, but I've never seen it. There are films that you see, but it's not a piece you see on stage because of the cost of doing it and the complexity of it. I think people are aware of its iconoclastic nature, but there's a fantastic reality and a huge emotional input when the scenes themselves are being performed. And
to be able to find that, or to find different moments every night, you know, to have that month or two of performance just to find different things is amazing, rather than, right, it's just too quick. TV's too quick for me and there's not enough prep time and it's all about line learning these days, you know, rather than exploring and learning, you know, learning about Luigi Pirandello in this one, learning about being in the theatre now, you know, having not worked in the theatre before.